Well, more civil unrest haunts the city of Portland now after 52 days of anti-police demonstrations. A riot was declared at the Portland Police Association headquarters as people set the union office on fire. Portland police responded to the violence saying this, and I quote, "People gathering around North Precinct are interfering with the operations of a police facility. Failure to follow this direction may subject you to arrest, citation, or use of force, including crowd control munitions." And as of last night, the state sued several federal agencies, accusing them of violating protesters' civil rights. There are also now reports that federal officers are pulling protesters into unmarked vans. Well, joining me now to discuss on all of this, civil rights attorney Leo Terrell to comment on the chaos in Portland. All right, Leo, you're a civil rights attorney. Is there any case to be made for the rights of Portland protesters at this point? Because if the goal is to end police brutality, I'm sure lighting up the precinct up in flames is sending quite the message. Your thoughts?
Well, first of all, let me be very glad to be here. These are not protesters. These are not people who are upset about George Floyd. These are criminals. These are people who are breaking the law. And what bothers me is they're using the George Floyd situation as a pretext. President Trump is absolutely correct to go in and try to stop this. The problem is very simple. The Democratic mayors don't want law and order. They are in bed with these extremist groups headed by Antifa and Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, Leo, you know, Mayor Wheeler goes on to say that federal law enforcement has reignited tensions. Listen to this. Mayor Wheeler goes on to say that the federal law enforcement has reignited tensions. We're going to toss this out right here.
Over the past week, President Trump has used our city as a staging ground to further his political agenda, igniting his base to cause further divisiveness, and in doing so, endangering Portlanders.
Now, Leo, what do you have to say to the mayor and governor who say these troops should not be there in Portland at all?
Let me be as clear as possible. I'm a civil rights attorney for the last 30 years. I lean left, but I have left the Democratic Party. Why? Because they have been hijacked by the Black Lives Matter and the extremist group. President Trump is absolutely right. Let me be very clear. These Democratic mayors, not just in Portland, but in Chicago, is trying to get people in the streets to create chaos. Why? Because they're trying to defeat President Trump. From what I've seen, he's the only person in this country seeking law and order, and it's going to be the demise of the Democratic Party and Joe Biden. It is a myth that these cities are trying to quash this. They want to encourage this. And that is putting party first and country second. I believe in country first, party second. That's why I am not with the Democrats, and I'm voting for Donald Trump.
Take on this, because these protests tie into George Floyd. Now, Leo, it was a couple weeks ago that you posted an op-ed titled "Why Black Lives Don't Matter to Black Lives Matter." There you list killings that happen every day in Chicago, Detroit, Atlanta, what have you. Since then, you've spoken publicly saying your colleagues don't support your views or your opinions. Now, Leo, are they outraged about the killings in these inner cities?
Let me think about that. No, they're ignoring these killings. Let me be very clear. Black Lives Matter does not care about all black lives. They are pandering. This is not 1960. We don't have Bull Connor and we don't have the German Shepherds. It's very clear to me that Black Lives Matter only cares if there is a black person who dies at the hands of a police officer, which is rare. They don't care about black on black crime in Chicago. They don't care if a black police officer gets murdered like David Dorn did in St. Louis. They are just out there profiteering. And guess what? Corporations are handing millions of dollars to Black Lives Matter. They took a page out of the Al Sharpton playbook, and they are shaking down corporations arguing that they care about all black lives. This civil rights attorney, this black American, does not support Black Lives Matter.
Now, just earlier you said that you support President Donald Trump. I want to hear from you personally why all of a sudden you came out in support of him.
Let me be very clear about why I support the president. I want everyone to hear this. In the last 3 years, Donald J. Trump has done more for people of color than the Obama-Biden administration for 8 years. Let me give you some examples. Donald Trump funded historically black colleges. Donald Trump passed a law, the First Step Law, that reversed the mass incarceration that Joe Biden did in 1994. Donald Trump signed an executive order for police reform. And then you have a black South Carolinian Republican Senator, Tim Scott, who tried to get legislation in the Senate. Guess what? 2 black Democrats, Kamala Harris and Cory Booker, stopped that legislation. Donald Trump can help people of color. I'm begging Democrats, people of color, to leave the Democratic Party and vote Republican and vote for Donald Trump, because I do not want chaos in the city and throughout this country.
All right, civil rights attorney Leo Terrell, we appreciate your time, sir. Thank you.